G'day, it's fugitive Australian journalist Shane Dowling from the website kangaroocourtofaustralia.com. Now, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has announced today, Monday the 28th of November 2022, that he's going to move a motion in Parliament to have former Prime Minister Scott Morrison censured for secretly appointing himself to multiple ministries during the previous government. The problem with that, that's nothing more than a slap in the face with a wet lettuce leaf. Achieves nothing. But let's have a listen to what Anthony Albanese said last Friday, the 25th of November 2022, after Virginia Bell, former High Court judge, handed down a report into Scott Morrison and his appointment to multiple ministries.
There are a number of things the former Prime Minister has said in response to the inquiry that Virginia Bell describes as, quote, difficult to reconcile. In the context of his dealing with the inquiry, what do you make of that?
Well, I find it extraordinary that there has been a lack of the self-awareness to actually give evidence before an inquiry such as this, which stands in stark contrast to what any reasonable person would have interpreted were Scott Morrison's intentions when the inquiry was announced.
So that's Anthony Albanese there, having a swipe at Scott Morrison, in effect saying, look, the public would have expected him to give evidence to the Virginia Bell inquiry, which Scott Morrison, implied when the inquiry was announced a couple of months ago. And Anthony Albanese is saying there's a lack of self-awareness by Scott Morrison, and it's not what the public would have expected, given Scott Morrison said he would cooperate with the Virginia Bell inquiry. But on the flip side, that's Anthony Albanese, before the last federal election, saying that the National Anti-Corruption Commission would have public hearings. That's a lack of self-awareness by Anthony Albanese, because new legislation to form the National Anti-Corruption Commission is basically blocked public hearings. It's only in exceptional circumstances. So that's a lack of self-awareness by Anthony Albanese in failing to understand what the public would have expected. It also shows a lack of understanding by Anthony Albanese when, before the last federal election, he was talking about he's got to rebuild the trust the public have in the government. It has to be open and transparent. It has to be accountable. The facts are the Virginia Bell inquiry never went far enough. The government's relying on one judgment by the Solicitor General, Stephen Donoghue, saying that what Scott Morrison did with the multiple ministry appointments was constitutionally valid. Well, Bill Gummow, a former High Court judge, has come out and said it wasn't valid. And Virginia Bell was never asked to answer that question as part of the remit when she did the inquiry, was that she had to take it as fact that Stephen O'Donoghue's legal opinion that the appointments were valid was just. It wasn't for her to interpret it or give her own opinion. Why they didn't ask for her opinion, I don't know. Now, I've just published an article on the issue. Scott Morrison gives the Australian public the middle finger with the help of Anthony Albanese. I published that on Sunday the 27th of November 2022. So visit my website. There's going to be a lot further information on there. Links to a lot of the information, links to Virginia Bell's report, etc. So make sure you read that. Now, the Patreon account I set up a few months ago is currently sitting at 233 supporters who have committed to $1,791 a month. Now, moving forward, that's my main source of income, so I'd be greatly appreciated if you could support that. You can donate any amount, $3, $5, $7, $10, $15, $20, whatever suits your budget. And there'll be a link below the video on YouTube, so you can just click on that to go to the Patreon account, or on my website there's a Patreon button on the sidebars and below most of the articles. So if you can do that, it'd be greatly appreciated. And please hit the like and subscribe button, and please share the video on Facebook and Twitter, etc. Other than that, thank you for your time and have a good day.